Good morning, friends, and welcome back to the course Heat Transfer Operation. Now, today we are learning section number 3, convection. In last two section, first we have seen the introduction. Again, in section 2, we have seen the conduction. Conduction is the micro heat transfer. Now, we are moving towards the macro heat transfer. That is meant by convection. In conduction, we have seen that the heat transfer operation is occurring in solids, but for convection it is occurring in fluids. That means in either liquid or in gases. So in convection we have to look out the different mechanisms of convection. So heat transfer in fluids occurs by convective current due to relatively low attractive forces between the adjacent molecules which are quite a distance apart from each other. So heat is when supplied to these molecules increase their random moment, thus moving them further away from each other and resulting decrease in their density. That means what happen actually, once we are heating the cold liquid from the bottom, the cold liquid heated, it get lighter in density and it get replaced, it get it has some movement, upward movement, and the cold liquid which has some downward movement. So in this way the convective current flows across and the convection is to be happen. So when the heater is placed in lower side of the system, this system get heated, low density fluid rises and gap is filled by the cold high density fluid, which now get again heated. This process continue to make the fluid temperature uniform everywhere in the system, and this is known as natural convection. And when the time required to attain the uniform temperature is reduced by any artificial means, that means by creating the turbulence, this system is known as the forced convection. So the convection is happening in two ways. First one is the natural convection and the second one is the forced convection. Natural current or natural density is responsible for the natural convection, and force or any artificial means we can uh, force the convection to happen, known as forced convection. So now look at the convective resistance, which is the main thing in the study of convection. In convection, actually, the major resistance to the heat transfer lies in the thin film offered by the fluid near the heating surface. So most of the studies are made around the thin film. Now look at the figure. Solid which is in contact with the bulk fluid, and when there is a surface heating or there is a some heat transfer between the solid and the fluid, near the solid surface there is a film is formed known as the fluid film, which has the thickness around mm, and the temperature difference is T1 minus T2, or the temperature which is flow from solid to liquid or solid to fluid from T1 to T2. The fluid film is offering the resistance to the convective current or to the convective heat transfer. So most of the studies are made around this film, and for steady state conduction the heat transfer equation is given by the Fourier law. Q is equal to minus K delta T upon Y. Here K for the fluid can be found from the literature. The film thickness Y can be depends on the various factors like the fluid's nature, viscosity of the fluid, temperature gradient, turbulence, etc. So the convective current or the convection heat transfer is given by the Newton's law of cooling. Q is equal to HA delta T, where H is the heat transfer coefficient and is related to K as follows. H is equal to K upon Y. In this way, this convection heat transfer, we can control the fluid turbulence by surface modification and fluid velocity control. In this way, we can increase the heat transfer coefficient by decreasing the film thickness. So the fluid movement is unpredictable and we cannot predict the perfect molecular movement in case of fluid, so that the macro motion of the molecules are considered while designing the convection equation using dimensional analysis. So the macro motion is there, that's why convection is also called as the macro heat transfer. Now, in the next session, we'll see the natural convection. Actually, what do we mean by natural convection? As seen earlier, we need to assume some quantities to be affecting the heat transfer, and these quantities are length, fluid density, viscosity, heat capacity, thermal conductivity, fluid coefficient of thermal expansion, gravitational acceleration, temperature difference, and heat transfer coefficient. So by using the Buckingham Pike method, we get the final relation in dimensionless equation, and which is stated below. Uh, Nu, that means the Nusselt number, is a function of Grashof number and the Prandtl number, where Nusselt number is given HL upon K, Prandtl number is given Cp mu upon K, and Grashof number is given as given in the equation. In this way, the natural convection is depend on the Grashof number and the Prandtl number, or ultimately we can say that the heat transfer coefficient H is depend on the specific heat, is depend on the viscosity, is depend on the density, and ultimately it also depend on the temperature difference. In forced convection, again we have to simplify, and again we need to assume few quantities to be affecting the heat transfer, and these quantities are length, fluid density, viscosity, heat capacity, thermal conductivity, flow velocity, and heat transfer coefficient. And by the same method, we get the final relation in dimensionless equation, and this is nothing but the Nusselt number again is a function of Reynolds number and the Prandtl number. Here Nusselt number is stated as above, then Prandtl number again stated as above. Reynolds number is stated here L rho V upon mu. And again here we can say that the heat transfer coefficient is depend on the specific heat, is again depend on the viscosity, is again depend on the density, and it also depend on the velocity. That means if the velocity increases, the heat transfer coefficient increases. So that the Reynolds number is the very prime factor in forced convection. And for the closed conduit fluid flow, this can be written as Stannon number. Stannon number, which is the function of Nusselt number, Reynolds number, and Prandtl number, and ultimately it is also a function of Reynolds number and the Prandtl number. Now, see some of the significant dimensionless number. First one is the Reynolds number, Grashof number, and the Prandtl number. These three numbers are very crucial while designing the convective heat transfer, as Reynolds number is a ratio of inertial force to the viscous force. That means we can say that velocity is ultimately important while designing the convective heat transfer. As velocity increases, heat transfer coefficient is also increases. Then Grashof number, buoyant force upon the viscous force. That means again here heat transfer coefficient is depend on the viscous force. Then the thermal force. Prandtl number, which states that viscous force divided by the thermal force. We can say that momentum diffusivity is depend on the thermal diffusivity. Prandtl number is the property of fluid, and it is 6.7 for the water at room temperature, and it is 0.5 to 1 for gases. For liquid it varies from 2 to 0.001. Nusselt number is important in convection because it contains the term H, that means the heat transfer coefficient, and it decides the overall heat transfer rate. So it is the ratio of wall temperature gradient divided by average temperature gradient across the pipe length, or it also can be defined as tube diameter upon the laminar layer thickness. For laminar fluid flow heat transfer in pipe flow, Nusselt number is again defined like this: distance from leading edge to the boundary layer film thickness, or sometimes for fluid flowing over the flat plate with boundary layer development, Nusselt number can be defined as overall heat transfer to the molecular heat transfer. Again, we can say that the macro heat transfer to the micro heat transfer. Now, see the flow over the flat plate, that means the boundary layer theory. Now, these are the applications of convection heat transfer. And if there is one plate which is uniformly heated at a higher temperature than the flowing fluid, then the thermal boundary layer is exist, and the thickness of the thermal boundary layer is depend on the fluid properties like thermal conductivity, again specific heat, etc., and also a velocity profile. Now we have to consider the elemental volume over which we have to do some mass balance and heat balance. So to get the thickness of the thermal boundary layer, we have to consider the box A, B, C, D, and where we have made some equations for the average heat transfer coefficients, and these equations are Nusselt number is equal to 0.646, has some proportion related to Reynolds number and Prandtl number. Again, for the turbulent flow in which the macro movement of the fluid particles occur, the equation is given below. Both the equations are given in terms of Nusselt number. That means the heat transfer coefficient is depend on the Reynolds number and is depend on the Prandtl number, and this is for the flow over the flat plate. Now, see the pipe flow. For fluid flowing in pipes like heat exchangers, the correlations are always there for forced convection because the fluids are in forced in the pipes. So, for the laminar flow where the Reynolds number is very low, less than 2100, we have Seidartett equation, and for turbulent flow where the uh, Reynolds number is high enough, the d by L effect is negligible, and we use the Titius-Bolte equation stated below. Both the equations again in Nusselt number, and for turbulent flow, N is mentioned for the uh, Prandtl number. That means the power of Prandtl number is mentioned here in terms of N. So if N is equal to 0.4 for the fluid heating and N is 0.3 for the fluid cooling. Again, in convection heat transfer, we have to consider the flow over the plate. So if plate is there, cylinder is there, the convective film is formed around the cylinder, and that are also mentioned here. For laminar flow, where the Reynolds number is less than 3 into 10 raised to 5, and over the full length L of the plate, Nusselt number is stated below. Then for turbulent flow, where the Reynolds number is greater than 3 into 10 raised to 5, with turbulent region, Nusselt number is again stated here. For flow around sphere, when heated or cooled by the fluid flowing past, we can use the equation knowing as the Frostling equation and Frostling relation, that also mentioned below in the correlations. Cross flow around the cylinder, that means for fluid normal to the cylinder, the flow is sensitive to Reynolds number. We use the relation Nusselt number is equal to A into Prandtl number raised to 1 by 3 and Reynolds number raised to B. If we consider again the different applications of convection, we must not ignore the heat transfer rate through the phase changes. Now look at the figure here. One pot is here. Again we are heating the pot from the bottom, and due to the heating, what happen actually, the bubbles are formed, then the liquid get converted into the gaseous phase. So that what happen actually here, the boiling is there, and that boiling is also we have to consider in the convection. In convection, when heat transfer occurs in fluid, both the phase changes is observed, knowing as the boiling and the condensation. So both have different heat transfer mechanism and shows the difference in heat transfer rate, although the heat involved in both mechanism is same. That means in boiling, the latent heat of vaporization is provided, and while in condensation, latent heat of condensation is there. Both the heat are same, only the difference is that both are the reverse phenomena. Now the here how the boiling curve for water at 1 atmosphere is there. In figure, actually we have mentioned the boiling curve for the water. The rate, the heat transfer rate is changes with the temperature. So how the boiling curve is there for water at 1 atmospheric pressure? C region is nothing but the natural convection is there. N region where the nuclear boiling is there. Then again the different regions are there. F region is there. R region is there. In next slide we'll see how this convective curve is moving. Actually, the mechanism of boiling is explained here. Boiling operation is important in boilers, reboilers, evaporators, etc. And this operation means the natural convection heating of stationary bodies at their boiling point. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius and is explained here by heating the water in vessel from the bottom by supplying the heat flux. The heating is started when the initial temperature difference is delta T is equal to TB minus T degrees Celsius, which makes the liquid to rise and circulate. And this makes the total liquid heating, and once the heating of stationary fluid started, the heat flux equation is given below. Q by A is equal to H delta T. Now, how the curve is moving and what is the significance of different points is stated in the next slide. Now see, here the boiling curve for water at 1 atmosphere is given. Now see,